Hi, welcome back to Biz Talk TV. I'm your host and business guide, Michael Rager, here on Now Media Television. And we get to talk about the chickens. I haven't had Katrin on in a while. Katrin, what's going on? How are the chickens doing?
Chickens are good, Michael. It's good to be back.
You didn't want to talk about the chickens at all? Come on. I mean, this
I
was a...
mean, they kind of haven't been getting a lot of attention from me because everything's been going really great, and I've been staying very, very busy. So the poor chickens have been neglected. So there's not
I
much to
know, I've been
say.
seeing you all over social media. I'm seeing cat here, cat there, cat everywhere. Here a cat, there a cat. It's just what's going on. So one of the things we're going to talk about today is podcasting and being guests on shows. Why is it important for business owners or people who want to become business owners to get highlighted on shows, other people's shows?
Well, it really comes down to the know, like, and trust factor. I mean, when you see someone producing, their own ads, their own content, they're obviously always going to get the very best of them. And when you have someone come on as a guest in an interview style podcast, you get to really see a lot more of them. There's a lot less of the walls kind of come down, and you get to see truly more who they are and what it would be like to work with them. And that really helps you connect with them on a deeper level. And so it really helps them to highlight their business, but to also give the listeners something new to think about. So it's been a really great honor with the podcast that I host called The Good, Bad, and Ugly of Business. I had an incredible influx over the summer of people requesting to be guests on there. So through that process, I mean, I had over like 200 people, it's like 204 people request in like a month period. It was bananas, but it was amazing. And so out of that 200 people, I selected 60 to start with. And I thought, I'll reach out to 60. Maybe I'll hear from half of them, but I ended up hearing from 55 of them that booked with me. So I have just been recording podcast interviews like crazy. And I've really noticed that there's some themes that make a really great podcast guest so that they can promote themselves the best way possible, even if it's something that they don't normally do.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, you've got some guests that, I saw the one I watched with the orthopedic surgeon talking about burnout and stuff like that. That's a very big issue in business owners. How did you decide which topics to tackle and which one's going to be most important to your audience?
Well, it's a great question because as a podcast host, I have some responsibility to do my research into my guests. I'm going to be watching any other interviews that they've done. What are they putting out on social media? Kind of what is their secret sauce? And so I really look to highlight and help them to shine their light because there's some people that are doing amazing work in the world, but they don't really know how to shine their own light. So that's where I can come in and help them to promote them and help them shine brighter. But I really look at, it's not necessarily the what that they're doing, but I'm looking more at the how and the why of what they're doing and trying to come at the interview from a different angle. So my intention and goal after every interview is for them to end and go, wow, that was the best interview. Like, I've never been asked these questions. It really got me thinking. And that's the kind of energy that I bring to each one of the episodes.
Oh, so you're doing more in-depth stuff than I do here, so that's good. I'm glad to know that.
Well, we have a little bit more time to go into depth and ask those questions. And I think because the title of the podcast is The Good, Bad, and Ugly, the guests know that we're going to get personal. It's not just all the good stuff because I think, especially in today's society and with social media, most people are only ever putting the best stuff out there. And the secret that we all know as business owners is that it's not always like that. It's not always this perfect picture. So to give someone the opportunity to talk about the failures and the lessons that they've learned from those failures is really, really crucial and critical because it shows their resilience, it shows their persistence, it shows their tenacity. And that's exactly what you want when you're going to be working with someone in any sort of capacity, I think.
Well, I think it's important to realize as business owners and people that are in what we do as consultants and coaches and stuff like that, to help business owners realize that they are going to fail. The only way to grow is through failure. These are the things that we need to look at and learn. And how do we get through? One of my coaches told me we need to fail fast. So how are you bringing that up with your clients? When you're with the questions, how are we moving through good, bad, and ugly?
Well, I mean, it's usually about their mindset. And so I have been really fortunate to have many, many successful people come on as guests. Lots of millionaires. And as I'm hearing these millionaires speak, there's definitely themes and qualities and traits that they all share that is clear that that's what's led to their success. And so I think the repetitive nature of hearing what they've come through, how they were able to change their mindset and really have it of, I can I can get through anything. There's nothing that is going to stop me. I might have to pivot, I might have to go around, but I'm still flowing through. Really is great for anyone to listen to and start to say, how can I change my mindset? And I think that's what's really important there. And they're open. They come on being willing to share and say, yeah, I tried this. I struggled for 2 years. I tried everything that didn't work. It's like the famous Thomas Edison quote of he found, 99 ways to not make a light bulb, but he never stopped. He kept going.
I was like, yeah, I think it was 10,000 ways not to make a light bulb. I'm from Michigan, and we learned a lot about Thomas in Michigan. But I think one of the things that I share with my clients is the fact that I lost $100,000 in a business deal, and that's hard. And I'm telling you, losing 6 figures hurts, and it's never easy to get over it. So I want you to spend about a minute and a half telling me how this podcast has changed your business.
Oh my gosh, I think it's changed me. I was always really good at thinking on my feet, but I don't have set interview questions. So it really helps in that aspect of things. And I tend to be a very trusting person. So what I learned with the 60 people that I brought on is I would do a lot more due diligence ahead of time. They've all been wonderful, great guests, but I needed to do just as much due diligence as they do. And that's one of the things as a tip for if you want to be on someone's podcast. Most podcast hosts are looking for people. So if you're interested, reach out. They will probably welcome it. But also make sure you've listened to the podcast so you know kind of what the topics are like, what the flow of it is. And that really helps a lot too, to be more mentally prepared. But I think it's really just helped me to connect with people and to have a better way of providing value. Like I can see all of the different people like, oh my gosh, I need to connect this person with this person with this person. Like I can see all these opportunities for partnership. And so I really work to provide value to all of my guests as a thank you for them being on.
I know that due diligence, I think that's awesome. I think Gus over here, I'm going to look at him. Gus over here, he's got to get me, I get the guests about 9:30 Wednesday night. So I know who's good. So it gives me like a couple cocktails to figure out what I got to ask. I know when you texted me last night. So how do people find you, Kat? They want to be on your show. They want to meet you. They want to find out more about Kat. How do they find you?
The best way is to go to my website, which is www.optimizewe.com. There is a section on there that has the podcast. The podcast can also be found on Amazon, Google, Spotify, Apple, all the major platforms. But there's also a button in the website to connect with me. So if you want to work with me, if you want to be a guest, I would love to hear from you. I'd love to talk to you.
Well, that sounds great. So, all right, if you want to go be on the show with my friend Kat, talk about chickens and llamas and all that stuff, go on there. That's what it's all about. Kat, I love it. I missed you. We haven't talked in a while. I'm so glad we got a chance to.
I know. It's good to be back. And now you need to come on to my show.
I would love to. I'll come back after this fishing trip this weekend. Maybe we can head up north and bring some tuna for you and your husband.
Would you please?
I know when I go on tuna trips, everybody's my best friend. Everybody's my best friend after tuna trips. I'm telling you, that's what happens. So thanks, Kat. I really appreciate it. We'll see you next time. This is Michael Rager, your business guide here on Biz Talk TV on Now Media Television. We'll be back with more right after this.